Freeway bit. Are there any whores in here? Dude, yes, that's awesome. Dude, if you wooed, like, go get tested. So tired of catching chlamydia from y'all. I'm so tired of it. I'm always like, that pill again? And the doctor's like, yeah, you know. I actually did just get an STI result exam. Thank you, I'm a hero. And my doctor was probing me and asking me all these questions, and he was like, hey man, like, how many partners have you had, you know, in the last 3 months? And like, I didn't want to tell him the truth because like, I hate to brag. And then I got my results, and it turns out like I got mono, which is like the lowest form of STI you can get. Like, disgusting. I'm not 14. And I wasn't even that mad about it though, because they gave me antibiotics in an orange bottle, and I was like, oh my god, I am catching up on Euphoria right now. This is so aesthetic. Cool, some people watch Euphoria. In addition to being gay, I also just turned 30, and yeah, no one gives a shit. Like, no one ever cares when you turn 30. No one cares. I was like really self-conscious about turning 30, and then I did turn 30, and I met other 30-year-olds and saw their faces, and I was like, oh my god, I'll be fine. It's gonna be okay. I stay Asian. I know, you guys probably can't tell I'm 30 because I dress so cool, and I think like the hardest part about turning 30 is people are constantly running advice to you like as you approach it. Like, I don't know if any of you guys experienced this before you died, but like I was constantly getting advice. The most common piece of advice that I would get though is people would run up to me and they'd be like, Richie, your 30s are just like your 20s, but with more money. Bitch, where? Like, where's that fucking money? I think the hardest part about turning 30, honestly, for me personally, is that I can no longer identify as a twink. Okay, yeah. If you're in this room and you're like, what's a twink? A twink is just like a young gay skeleton. Skeleton isn't an accurate term because they're always full of extra bones, but like I just did something kind of crazy for a 30-year-old. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I'm kind of like a crazy 30-year-old. I'm just like, blah, you know, I'm like a goofy 30-year-old. I just did something crazy. I went to a music festival this summer. And yeah, no, music festivals used to be this like super cool thing in my early 20s where I would like go do drugs, fall in love, maybe get fingered, and like, and now, I don't know when this cultural shift happened, but music festivals are now places where 20-something-year-olds shove you and tell you to go home. I don't know when that change happened. I went to this music festival with two of my friends. One was also 30 and another one was 23 years old. And wow, that 7-year age gap makes a difference. It's a huge difference. We were gonna pregame before we went to the festival at my friend Connor's house, the 23-year-old. And do you guys know Connor? You guys know Connor? No? No one knows Connor? How about like a Chad, David, Blake, James, Doug, Mike? All of those names work. Those are all very common names for tall, skinny white guys who like to pregame. You should get to know one of those dudes. They'll fuck up your night, you know? I showed up to Connor's place, and there was like a little pregame party there, and I got there, and he was like, hey man, you wanna hit this joint? And I was like, dude, I am trying to stay awake. He was like, how about take a shot? And I was like, ooh, I don't want heartburn. He was like, you should at least pop some pills with me. And I was like, bro, I am way ahead of you. I popped an ibuprofen. I was talking to one of the women at that pregame party, and like this bitch, she was like, what are you doing for the, what drugs are you on? And I was like, I'm pretty sober right now. And she was like, okay, well, I took like half a cup of shrooms. I let that simmer. And then I also did like, just like 2 little teaspoons of Coke. And then I also just did like a sprinkle of Molly. I was like, bitch, are you cooking? Like, When did we start measuring drugs this way? I am not that old. Like, what happened? She was super fun, though. She was super fun. She was a blast. We walked into the music festival and we were hanging out there, dancing, doing cool shit. And then at one point in the night, my friend Connor, he looked at me and he was like, hey man, you know what we should do? It's 7 o'clock right now. We should fight our way to the front of the main stage, get front row, dance there all night until the headliner comes on at 10 o'clock, and then we can dance and party there until the event is over. Does that sound like fun? Do you want to do that? No, dude. I don't want to do that at all. That sounds awful. I want to stand in the back where I can move my arms around like this. So Connor went up to the front, okay? And then me and my friend Molly, we stayed in the back. And by the way, Molly is a horrible name to have at a music festival. Fucking terrible name. I would be calling her and I'd be like, hey, Molly. And people would be like, do you have any? Just looking at me wide-eyed, licking their lips, looking like lizards, just... All right, a Molly crowd, okay. So my friend Molly and I stayed in the back, and like the back slowly became the middle because like more like younger Gen Z people just like kept coming and pushing and shoving us, and like Molly and I were very brave, but then, thank you. Woo! Okay. Molly and I were very brave, and then. At one point, Molly kind of just lost it, and she said like the most 30-year-old shit I've ever heard anyone say. She just went, "Oh my God, no! We do not push me, say excuse me!" I was like, "Bitch, we gotta get you out of here." So Molly and I fought our way out of the crowd. And yeah, like we were pushing and shoving, like we needed like pickaxes. And we eventually got out, and then Molly looked at me and she was like, dude, let's just be honest. Like, are we even having fun right now? Like, we can go home. And I like looked at her and I was like, you're right, we can go home. So Molly and I just went back to my place and did shrooms in my living room like adults. And Molly was like, whatever happened to Connor? And we don't know, you know. Rumor has it he's still in front of that stage. That's the best that joke has done. I'm really proud of that joke. I'm really proud of that joke. Thank you. I'm dating right now, and you can keep clapping. No, I'm kidding. I'm dating right now. I'm on all the dating apps. I'm on like Tinder, Grindr. Do you guys know what Grindr is? Yeah? Weird. That sounded like everyone. And earlier I had asked if there were any gay people in here, and it's pretty fucking quiet. So, you know, like, check your man's phone. I like Grindr because guys on Grindr are like super direct. Like the other night I was talking to this dude at 9 o'clock, and at 9:15 he had invited me back over to his place. And I decided to go because I think we should all do something once a day that scares us. Yeah, all right. The ladies felt that one. Okay. Yeah, some of us used to play extreme sports and, you know, I don't know. I used to love, like, going out with random guys, going home with them, not knowing if they were going to be, like, my new boyfriend or my murderer, you know? Like, that was fun. I'm also on this dating app called Hinge. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Hinge or not. Hinge is a dating app that's designed for, like, a longer-term relationship, so people will talk to you a lot nicer on there. And I don't know why you guys laughed at that. Like, you guys didn't believe people talk to me nicely. You guys were just like, this exposed arm whore. Like, but I was talking to this guy on Hinge when I first downloaded it, and the first message he sent me, he was like, hey man, I can't wait to cuddle you. Aww. Yeah, right, that's really sweet. But when I read that message, I just looked at my phone and I was like, oh my God. This dude spelled choke me wrong. Anyways, I'm Ricci Armani.